Okay, we're in Torah Hey, BaChatzotzrot, in part 3. So now that we've spoken about how a person is to connect to the Simcha of Hashem, and that's a certain perspective of how to fulfill the mitzvah, where it's not a burden, where you're not doing it for something that will come afterwards, where you're absolutely focused and present in the pleasure and pleasantness that in this moment, in this true connection to Hashem, that is an opportunity that cannot be had anywhere else and any other time, in any other world, but right here and right now. And the significance of that brings a person to be absolutely present in this moment. And so through that, a person is able to develop a certain sensitivity to, through that connection to Hashem's joy and Hashem's happiness, and the person can develop a sensitivity to what is going on in the world and in all the different dimensions, the action and the creation of Hashem, the craft of the craftsman. And through that, he's able to tell and make a distinctions in, he's able to distinguish between before the decree and after decree, and on what the decree is, what has been issued, and where and at what time. And so now that we've spoken about that, the importance of connecting to Hashem's joy and Hashem's happiness, and how a person can develop that, now he's going to speak about how a person can increase the experience of joy and happiness. And that's what he's going to speak about now. He says, "V'ikar simcha hu balev, kemo shekatuv natanta simcha b'libi, v'yi efshar lalev lismoach ela ad sheyasir hakmumiyot shebelibo, shehe lo yashrut lev, v'ay yizkeh lesimcha, kemo shekatuv ulishche lev simcha." He says the main place where a person experiences joy and happiness, the source where the joy and happiness is drawn from, awakened, and connected to, is a person's heart. And he brings this pasuk in Tehillim that says that you have put joy in my heart. So we see that heart of a person is the place where joy is put, and experience. And he says that a person's heart is unable to experience the joy completely until a person removes any crookedness and any blocks from the heart, any emotional blocks from the heart. As much as a person's heart has these emotional blocks, and what does that mean, the emotional blocks? It means that the person's heart is not in alignment with a person's true self, a person's true nature, a person's divine nature, and that's what's causing this block. That's causing the crookedness. The crookedness is implying a certain imbalance, a certain inalignment, a lack of being one and connected to the inner divine source of a person. And so unless a person straightens his heart, that means he aligns the heart and he reconnects it and clears the heart from this emotional blocks, then a person cannot experience the simcha, the joy, properly. But if once a person does remove that crookedness from the heart, he will experience the simcha. And he brings a pasuk also in Tehillim, Ulishelev simcha, that the joy is for a straight heart, a heart that's an alignment. That's when a person experiences joy, when you have removed any of the crookedness, any of the blocks from that heart. But how do you do that? How do you remove these emotional blocks? How do you release that? Remove that. So that's what he says. כמו שאמרו חכמינו זיכרונם לברכה, לא נבראו רעמים אלא לפשט הקנוניות שבלב. ורעמים הוא בחינת כל שאדם מוציא בכוח בתפילתו, ומזה נעשה רעמים. He says that this crookedness of the heart, a person straightens out and removes from the heart through something called thunder, the aspect of thunder. Okay, thunder is obviously, it's a metaphor here, and we're going to see what it represents and what it means. But through thunder, a person removes the crookedness from the heart. And he brings this Gemara that says in Masechet Brachot that thunder was only created in order to straighten out all of this crookedness and to remove all of these blocks, these emotional blocks from the heart. And so now, what is this aspect of thunder? So he says that thunder is when a person prays with a certain voice, not just prayer, but also including, not excluded to anything else, not exclusive to prayer, but including prayer. So it could be prayer or also learning Torah. When a person is learning Torah or praying, and he does so with a loud voice that comes from his heart, doesn't have to necessarily start off by being purely from the heart, but the most important point in the initial phase, is that it should be a voice, a loud voice that comes from din. It's almost like an energy of gevura, an energy of judgment. So it's a powerful voice. And when this powerful voice comes out of a person in prayer and tefillah, and that's where sometimes you go to certain places and you hear certain rabbis and tzaddikim and chassidim, they have this tradition and the way that they pray, that they call out in the middle of davening, they say certain psukim very loudly, with all their energy, powerfully. And sometimes you go to Beis Medrash also, and you hear some people learning their Gemara in the same way. And so this is an extremely great tikkun. According to Rabbi Nachman over here, this is what he's speaking about. When a person does that, when a person lets out a powerful voice, his voice he expresses it powerfully and loudly in Torah and in Tefillah. And so what's the power of that, and what are the how does that work? Ki'ita bezoach, so he explains, Kad kala nafik ve'ara be'ovi mitra ishtama kala libriyata v'da'inun ve'amim. The Zohar explains what is this whole thing of thunder. He says when the voice is expressed, and it meets these rain clouds, so when there's a vibration, a voice that is expressed, which is like a vibration that is sent out and meets up, it encounters these rain clouds, ishtama kala livriyata. So then this voice is transmitted to the people of creation, Veda'inun ve'amim. And this is what thunder is. So what is thunder? Thunder is when this vibration, this voice, it emanates and encounters this rain cloud. And when that happens, so then the voice is transmitted, reverberated maybe, to all to creation. And that's the thunder that people hear, almost amplified. Okay, so this loud vibration, this loud voice, when it hits the rain clouds, it's amplified, and then you hear thunder. You hear it, it's transformed into thunder. So now says Rabbi Nachman, what is the source of thunder? Thunder are coming from the side of Gevura. They are coming from the energy of Gevura, and he brings a pasuk, an example of this in Eov that says that who can understand the Gevura of Hashem's thunder? The thunder of Hashem's Gevura, who can understand? And since the thunder comes from Gevura, that's why the blessing that the Gemara teaches us and the Shulchan Aruch tells us that we must make when we hear thunder is that Hashem's might and Hashem's Gevura fills up the universe. So why is that? What's the connection? The connection is because thunder comes from Gevura. And so when we hear the thunder, we are blessing this aspect that comes from Gevura, that Hashem's strength, Hashem's power, and Hashem's Gevura fills up the universe. And the Gevura is the aspect of might and strength. She'adam motzi, what does it mean, might and strength? It's this power that a person uses when he lets out this voice, he expresses his voice in a powerful way. And so that's the energy, that the source. When a person lets out the voice in a powerful way, it's coming from an energy of Gevura, a powerful energy of Gevura, because Gevura is this energy of strength and power and might. And then when a person does let out this voice in a powerful, strong way, in a loud way, this voice encounters the rain clouds, as we said. What's the rain clouds? What does that represent? The rain clouds represent represents a person's consciousness, a person's brain, a person's consciousness. Shemisham yodin tipin tipin. From the brain, from the mind, from the consciousness, there are these drops that start to descend. What are these drops? The drops of rain from the rain clouds, right? But what is that? So we're going to see. The Zohar says that this well, this of fresh water, has these drops that come from the Lebanon. What's Lebanon? That's the, first of all, this is a pasuk, I think, in Shir Shirim. Yeah, it's in Shir Shirim. This is a pasuk in Shir Shirim. And it says in the Shir Shirim that this wellspring of water has these drops coming down from the Lebanon. What's the Lebanon representing? So it's not just a place. The Zohar says, it's hinting to, alluding to the whiteness. Libuna is the whiteness of the consciousness, of the brain. The brain is considered white. Different parts of a person's body. The body is made up mainly of two categories. There's the red parts of the body, the red organs, and then there are the white organs. And so the brain is part of the white category. The skin also is part of the white category. The blood and the blood vessels and the heart and all that come from the red. So the brain is the most central, most important, just like the heart is the most important of the red category of parts of the body. The brain is the most important of the white category of parts of the body. And the Gemara in Masechet Nida says that when a child is born, when a child is created, he receives the white parts of the body from the father, and from the mother he receives the red parts of the body. And Hashem puts the spiritual aspect that gives life to both, to the combination of the two. And then the Gemara says when a person passes away, so Hashem just takes back the part that he gave, the spiritual aspect, the neshama, and then the rest is left. And without the spiritual aspect, it just it doesn't last very long, unless a person elevated the physical aspect to a spiritual form, and then you have tzaddikim that many years after passing away, and their body doesn't decompose because it still has this tremendous, powerful spiritual energy within the body, within the physical, because the physical has been elevated to such a level. But the point here is that the brain is the first most important primary part of the body in the category of the white, and therefore when it says that this wellspring of water has drops from the Lebanon, and the Zohar says libuna de mocha. Lebanon is representing, it's like the word lavan. Lavan means white, and the Zohar says it's from the white of the brain, which is the place of consciousness in the person. When this powerful voice of Gevura, this Gevura voice, this mighty strong voice of Gevura, it encounters, it hits, it vibrates within these rain clouds, and we said the rain clouds is the brain, the consciousness of a person. So a person expresses this voice, even though the brain maybe the brain is asleep, but a person expresses this powerful, strong voice. He expresses his voice in a powerfully strong way, in a Gevura way, and then that encounters and that vibrates within a person's consciousness, within a person's mind. And what comes from that is, then there's these drops that come down from the brain, and there's this feeling that is awakened. And then we're going to see what that is. So he says, but that's the noise that reverberates from the rain clouds to the creation in the universe. That's the thunder that we hear, metaphorically. Hainu b'chinat ra'amim. That's the aspect of thunder. V'zeu kol ra'amcha b'galgal. And this is what also is alluding to in the pasuk in Tehillim, that the sound of your thunder was in the sphere. What's this sphere? Hainu b'galgalta democha. The brain of a person is also called a sphere. It's the first aspects of a person, of the form of the human being, which is the aspects of consciousness, are called gulgolet. Just like the Hebrew word for the skull is gulgolet. That's where the brain is. So that's the sphere. Hainu b'galgalta democha, the sphere of the brain. Kada ara b'galgalta democha. So when this voice encounters the sphere of the brain. So now he's just replacing the rain clouds with the word the brain, the sphere of the brain. Then there are these thunder that is reverberated, that is bounced back from that brain. And it's heard by the creation in the universe. So that's how he explains this pasuk in Tehillim. Kol ra'amcha b'galgal. The voice of your thunder in the sphere. What does that mean? That's when the voice of Gevura encounters the galgal, the sphere of the brain. The effect of that is the thunder that's heard to the creation. And now he explains another pasuk based on this. The pasuk says, "My mouth will speak wisdom." What does that mean? What does it mean? My mouth will speak wisdom. He says, my mouth, when there is a voice of Gevura, a mighty, strong, and powerful voice coming out of my mouth, it will encounter chokhmot. It will encounter the chokhmah, which is the brain, the consciousness, the sphere of the brain. Hainu bigalgalta democha. And through this, v'hagut libi. What's the end of that same pasuk? The end of that pasuk is v'hagut libi tivunot, that the contemplation of my heart will be understanding. Meaning that when this voice of Gevura is expressed and it encounters the consciousness, the mind, which is chachma, the intelligence of a person, then from this rain cloud, which is, as we said, the brain, the consciousness, there are these drops of water, rain, that come down. But also, another way of seeing it is that when that powerful voice encounters the rain clouds, there's thunder that is bounced back, that comes out, emanates from those clouds. Either you can call it thunder, or you can call it rain, but that is the heart that is awakened to feel at that point. Something comes from the brain, from the consciousness of Chachma, and affects a change in the bina, in the heart of the person. Through this thunder, the heart is awakened. And all of this is to say what Chazal teach us in the Gemara, Kol me'orer hakavana, that the voice awakens and stimulates a person's kavana, and the kavana is in the heart. Okay, so that feeling in the heart is awakened through the voice. Why? How? What are the mechanisms involved? It's the voice that comes out in Gevura. It first encounters the rain clouds, the mind, the consciousness of Chachma, and from that there is like a vibration, a thunder that comes out, and that affects the person's heart to be able to feel, to be able to understand, deeply understand. And this is also to explain what our Chachamim teach us, that when a person has Yirat Shamayim, he has the fear of Hashem, his words are heard. And by the way, this Gemara is a Gemara that we must really remember, because Rabbi Nachman brings this Gemara throughout Likutei Moharan in many, many places. And he teaches us a lot of things from this rule. So this is a big rule, one of these Gemaras that Rabbi Nachman brings many times, like that Zohar we saw about prayer being corresponding to the nose, that we saw many times already, and we're going to see many times. This is also one of those Gemaras that Rabbi Nachman, one of those Chazals that Rabbi Nachman brings many times, that a person how is a person's words accepted in the hearts of others? Why sometimes a person speaks and his words are heard, not just heard, but really heard. They're felt, they're experienced, they're remembered. Sometimes you hear a speech and it's memorable, it affects change. Sometimes maybe there's a speech that you heard in the past that until today, it has affected a change in your life. And then sometimes there's some people that may speak, and a couple of minutes after the speech, maybe it was nice during the speech, and maybe he said beautiful things, but you can't remember what he said, and you just continue living your life the same way. What's the difference? So one place the Chazal teaches something about how the voice that comes out, the words that come from the heart, enter the heart. So that means that that it's not just that they come from the heart. It means that words that come from the heart, a pure heart, a heart that's in alignment, a heart that's connected to its divine source, a heart that's awake. When words come out from a heart that's awake, that's in alignment, that's connected to this divine source, those words will penetrate the hearts of those that hear those words, and it will affect change. It will influence them. It will inspire them, like forever. It will change. It will transform them. And so, what is that? He says, why does that work? How does it work? He says like this. Oh, so in another place, the Gemara says that it's not just words. The Gemara describes it in a different way. Instead of saying that it's words that come out from a heart that's awake, the Gemara says it's words that come from someone that has yirat shamayim, that has the fear of Hashem. And in essence, really, these are synonymous, right? Because the yira is something that is connected to the heart. The fear is connected to bina, it's the side of bina. And therefore, the fear of Hashem is what cleans out, and reconnects and realigns that heart to its divine source. And so when a person has the fear of Hashem, that heart is awake, that heart is in alignment. And the words that come from such a heart, full of yirat shamayim, full of the fear of Hashem, will be accepted, will be memorable, will affect change, will influence, will inspire, will transform. And also, that's why if you see in the Torah, many times the reference that the Torah makes for the fear of Hashem is, the Gemara says, whenever it says, V'yaretam Elokecha ani Hashem, many of the mitzvot in the Torah, there's the commandment right at the end of the pasuk of the commandment. It says, and you shall fear your God, I am Hashem. And so what is that? How does that connect to the commandment that we just said? So many times in the Torah you have this, and Rashi brings from the Gemara and from the Medrash that whenever it's a mitzvah that is connected to the heart, everything is connected to the heart. Whenever it's a mitzvah that is has to do with the heart, that the main fulfillment of that mitzvah is through a person's heart, on that mitzvah it ends off that mitzvah saying, you shall fear Hashem. And the reason is because anything that is connected, anything that is sourced in the heart that has to do with the heart, that's the place, that's the point of where a person experiences awe and fear of Hashem. Okay, because that's the aspect of Gevura. So this Gemara, Chazal say, the person who has the fear of Hashem, his words are heard, meaning his words inspire, they transform, they affect change. How does that work? The more fear of Hashem that you have, which is the aspect of Gevura, fear, then the voice that comes out from the mouth of such a person, from such a consciousness of the fear of Hashem, will be words that directly hit the encounter and vibrate within the rain clouds, which is the brain of the person, and that causes the thunder to come out and affect something in the heart. So when you speak, and you're speaking from yirat shamayim, from the fear of Hashem, the people that hear that voice, it's coming out from your yirat shamayim, that voice of that energy of yira, of gevura, of might and strength, Hashem's might and Hashem's strength, that consciousness will go directly and vibrate within those people's rain cloud, which within those people's sphere of the brain, the chachma, and then that will cause thunder to be heard in their heart, meaning their heart will be awakened from that. And he says that's why your words will be heard, your words will affect change. That's why your words will transform them. Hainu, what does it mean that they are being heard? That's, as we said, that the thunder is heard to the people in the universe, the people in creation. Why is this effect in the people's hearts called that they will hear thunder? So he says because the heart hears. The eyes see, and the eyes represent chachma, whereas the heart represents bina, and the heart is where the sense of hearing is connected to. So when the Chazal teach us that the thunder is heard, so it's speaking about a much deeper hearing. It's speaking about a hearing it's felt in the heart, because the heart hears. So it's not just this, to hear with your ears. It's to hear with your heart. People will hear with the heart. When that thunder is emanating from the clouds, in effect of as an effect of your voice that came from Gevura, from the fear of Hashem. Because the heart, that's where we have, I'm just finishing these words. Because the heart is where we have hearing. Hearing is connected to the heart. How do we know that hearing is connected to the heart? So he brings an example. Hashem shamati shim'acha yareti. It's a pasuk in Chavakuk where the Navi says, Hashem, I heard your message and I feared. So how does that prove to us that the heart is the one that hears? Because we just said that the heart is where you have the fear of Hashem. The fear of Hashem affects the heart. And the heart, and so when he says that I heard your message and I feared, it means that through hearing your message in the heart, that's where I came to have that fear of Hashem. So it's like a circle. It starts with a fear of Hashem. It causes this voice to affect a change, vibrate within the rain clouds, and that affects the change in the heart to really, really feel it, to really be transformed by it, and to really be realigned and reconnected and cleared out, purified through it. Okay, so let's stop here. On to next week.
Beautiful. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Hatzlacha and
Shabbat shalom.
everything. Shabbat shalom.